Hello and welcome to our webinar Impact of Gen AI Simplifying Data and Records Keeping. I am Mukul Agarwal from Newgen Software and shall be your host and the moderator for the day. I thank you all for making the time to join us today. The response has been overwhelming and we are excited to talk about the top challenges in data and record management and how Gen AI can help you mitigate those challenges. I am delighted to welcome our guest speakers from iCAD Partners, Mr. Subhash Roy.
Thank you. Hello and welcome. I'm Subhash Roy. I'm CEO of iTech Partners, and I have over 30 years of record-keeping experience. And I'm very pleased to welcome you in this webinar along with my team and the excellent team of Newgen.
Thank you, Subhash, for joining us. I also have Mr. Kirk Cushing.
Thank you, Miguel. I am Kirk Cushing, the Executive Director at iCAG Partners, also with over 30 years of practice management and data and records keeping consulting experience in the financial services arena.
Thank you, Kirk, for joining us. I also have Mr. Vidyesh Mishra here.
Hi everyone, this is Vidyesh Mishra. Thanks, Mukul. This is Senior Manager with iCAG Partners. I have around 17 years experience in the Middle East, and I welcome Newgen as well for this webinar. Thank you.
I welcome all our guest speakers from iCAD Partners. I am also excited to welcome our guest speakers from Newgen Software, Mr. Varun Ghai.
Hi, excited to be here. I'm Varun, looking after business for Newgen in Europe. Thank you.
Welcome, Varun. We also have Mr. Vineet Mehta.
Hi everyone. So I am looking at global sales and alliances, and we are thrilled to have ICAG here with us today.
Thank you, Vineet. I welcome our guest speakers from Newgen Software as well. At the end of the presentation, we will conduct a Q&A session. I request you to type your questions in the question window of your GoToMeeting anytime during the webinar, and our experts will address them towards the end of the session. Without further ado, I request Subhash to take us through the presentations.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I mean, look, I think this is such an important topic we are talking about today, isn't it? Because, when it comes to records management, I think truly we are at the crossroads when it comes to good, robust record keeping. Obviously, long gone are those days when an organization could have adopted a data management solution and maintained their records retention schedule centrally. In today's day and age, when a mid to large size financial institution, for instance, generates more than a petabyte of data on a daily basis, the questions around safe, compliant, and also effective record keeping are totally different. And as such, I believe we all need to start considering the possibilities and advantages of new age, new generation technology solutions. And here is where we, the combined team of iCAG Partners and Newgen, comes in. So what are you going to do in the next few minutes? Talk about the key issues that we see as professionals, experts on records management industry are facing, you are facing, and then you're going to talk through the 5 set of solutions as well. And as you can see on the page here, Gartner expects GenAI becoming a general purpose technology, similar to a steam engine in 18th century or electricity on the internet, in 2000 for that matter. I'm going to pass it on to my colleague Vineet for us to take through some of those messages I just gave. Vineet.
So looking at the first challenge that we have in front of us, it's the quantum of information growth. So if we look at the decade between 2010 to 2020, the data grew from 2 zettabytes to 60 zettabytes annually. And this year, in the year 2023 itself, we are expecting this to be close to 120 zettabytes annually. And by the end of this decade, 2030, we are expecting this to rise to 660 zettabytes, which means that it it is going to unleash a challenge which is not only new, it's also uh, evolving with time, because it's not just about the growth of the uh, data on its own, but it's also about the new sources of records keep creeping in. It's about trying to build in a governance and accountability model, which ensures that you have access to a single version of truth at any point of time, despite having access to multiple data sources at in your ecosystem. Kirk, how do you see this as an impact?
Thanks, Vineet. Yeah, so all of us on the phone here now have, or on the webinar, have continuous shift in policies and challenges in compliance, right? So some of us and some of you, I'm sure, remember when records were stored in on-site filing cabinets, in the record room. Uh, Sent the records then off to printer boxes onto off-site storage. Then we had to watch as our records retention schedule went on to Excel spreadsheets. And those Excel spreadsheets then transformed into a SharePoint site. And I know some of us are still even on that technique, right? However, increasingly our data and records are being digitized and distributed across structured and unstructured systems, minute by minute, second by second, right? As Vineet stated, records are being made more and more applications both on our systems as well as off-channel communications. Extremely large volumes of data and records that are simply unmanageable by existing and somewhat outdated technology solutions. So how we adapt and how we stay ahead of the technology trends depends on adaptive technology solutions. Videsh, what are your thoughts on how we can compliantly consume data?
Well, I think with the increased amount of data and records being created and sorted each day, it becomes more of a challenge for our staff to retrieve them in response to a customer request or an internal audit or even a regulatory request. So I think this is one of the challenges. What do you think, Varun?
Yeah, thanks. See, no, if you see the journey of record to information to knowledge, right, that has been quite slow, painful, and rigorous for most of the organization. And today's world, knowledge from the information what we have is the new gold. So as the nature of the record shifts from a record room to disparate applications across the ecosystem, with newer ones being added into the list almost every year, this journey becomes extremely more critical for any organization today. So it has been the wisdom led and the problem that may not be solved without AI. So where, because the quantum is so much, we need intelligence support to enable the organization to extract value out of it. Subhash, what are your thoughts around it?
Thank you. I definitely would like to add at least a couple of points. I think what I see all the time, and I spend a lot of time with large banks, large financial institutions internationally across North America and across Europe, and I see the big challenges organizations facing is that when they get, asked by the regulators about real-time record-keeping intelligence, and also sort of, reporting to key regulations such as SEC 1704 or CFTC Rule 1.31, which is about electronic record keeping. That's another challenge, which need to be addressed by, I frankly believe, GenAI powered solutions. And another point, I think, no discussions today on record keeping can be completed without referencing the need for better controls and oversight on electronic communications, including off-channel communication, which one of my colleagues just said today. We see organizations using off-channel communications such as WhatsApp, WeChat, Yammer, and they're talking about setting up rates, they're talking about contracting. While there is a cultural element around it, we see both ICAG and NewGen have technological solutions, where we can enable the organizations and also I think wider market with the ability to put forward robust policy and governance, which are then further enforced by powerful technology solutions to both forensically review, but also stop curbing instances of such non-compliance across the whole organization, including staff, employees, third parties, and alike. But I think I've spoken a lot about the issues. Let us perhaps go into the solutioning. So let me pass back to my colleague Vineet, because I think he has some ideas he can throw here in terms of how we can address some of these issues. Vineet.
Thanks, Subhash. So the impact of the data has been that organizations, they're seeing exponential growth in the data. just not the scale of it, but also the new sources that we're talking about. So, which means that all of their strategy that they're trying to solve for, it no longer gets fulfilled by building a solution for a record room or a basement in a building. It is as diverse as new applications being picked in, new channels being recognized as a medium of communication, and which have to comply with the records standards for the organization. And what we are starting to understand is that this is where Gen AI really excels at, right? So if you're looking at a growth which has been unprecedented, you're looking at growth which you want, you are being forced to kind of make across a journey. Gen AI is the way to kind of adapt to that growth without having to uh, look at the other challenges that come with it, right? So I always say that Gen AI is providing you an immunity to information increase as you kind of adopt it across organizations. Kirk, does this sound in line with your current view?
Thanks. Yes, absolutely. We believe that the strategy for compliance in this area needs to be twofold, right? We need to ensure that we have the proper records retention framework, including policies, procedures, retention schedules, covering the life cycle from creation all the way through safe destruction, identifying risks, controls, defined roles and responsibilities. Until we get this in place, technology has to be a second thought. But once we get this in place, we must implement cutting edge technology. Organizations need automated solutions supported by generative AI that can help create a single source of truth by harmonizing our categorization, touch-free assignments of retention rules, automatic and routine checkpoints on usage and disposal, followed by safe destruction. Checkpoints on usage and disposals. We need to consider legal holds. All of this can be assisted through generative AI. Our partnership with NewGen, while we provide the structure, they help provide the technology and are incorporating generative AI into their solutions. Videsh, please explain the next challenge and how AI
Uh,
helps.
Thanks, Kirk. So if you see, ICAG Partners specializes in reviewing and assisting firms to create a properly structured records and or data management program. It utilizes the structured, in this case, record management framework of the policy and procedure, along with the structured catalog of the data or record, whereas NewGen is utilizing Gen AI to act as a sophisticated service and with a simple question as a prompt to the bot like find me the file of John Smith. It can scan and provide the path to what is needed and save valuable employee working time. This is what I think. What about you, Varun? What do you feel?
See, from Newgen perspective, we invested rigorously on Gen AI and found a lot of capabilities we can extract or the information we can extract from those documents. So we worked on two things for the organization. The first one is we powered the platform with NLP, which it helps organize the documents, brings in automated meta creation, enable chatbot-like capabilities for getting access to the organization, and also create a summary out of that content, which say basis in a natural language query people can ask, or if you're looking for information out of the content, right? The system can respond back to the users on that. And Subhash, I know Gen AI is quite hot buzz today across the world, right? A lot of your clients would be after you to understand your view. So, what do you think with this current landscape? How does it fit into some of the organizations you work with?
Oh, no, absolutely. I think, this is definitely a very important topic we are all talking about today, right? I think three things that comes out to me why we need the world need to know about new gen and the offering here, right? Record management powered by generative AI. I think the 3 points organizations struggle. Number one, you already said, the single version of truth. How do you know you have a harmonious set of records and you're complying with that retention and disposal schedule that a big regulator like SEC has asked you to do, or the FCA here in the UK. Number two, how do you create that centralized record management intelligence so that when you're asked by your auditors or by the regulators or by your third parties, you can deliver that? And third, how do you ensure protection and safety of key records, including sensitive personal data, PHI, health records, MNPI, materially non-public information. So all of that you can only do, given the scalability here, with a powerful GenAI technology. And I think overall, what I would say is that organizations need to design and implement a robust record-keeping governance process that starts with clear set of policies and procedures, supported by a set of controls, where your employees and third parties are kind of disallowed, I would say, to use social channels, right, including off-channel communication for business discussions, business conversations. In addition, start utilizing technologies such as NewGen to maintain your data retention schedule centrally with a central visibility, along with regular monthly quality checks and reviews to ensure that there are control in place. Plus, also put forward a robust training, communication, awareness program across your staff, across your employees, across your third parties. I think then we can get a handle on this. With all of that, I'm going to pass it back to the moderator because I think he might have a few questions for us.
Thank you all. That's a really insightful and wonderful session, I would say. We covered lots of challenges and how GenAI can help mitigate them. I request our audience, I'm sure you must have questions. Kindly use the question window, chat window, and throw us your questions. Our moderator, our panelists are eager to answer them. All right, I'm receiving the questions. I'll pick this one. I see Kirk. Why don't you take this up? The question is, these technologies always seem expensive and finding the budget for them can be challenging. How do you see other clients handling this issue?
That's a great question, and one that we all struggle with, right? Budget constraints. Well, I think how you do it. We need a strategy to bring our exco into investing into these solutions. I'd say first, we have to identify that a need exists. Trust us, we know it does, right? Second, evaluate the risk tolerance that your firm has, but make sure to consider all of the risks, not just the risk of where you're at. Risks include regulatory risks, financial risks, the fines, for example, right? Most importantly, reputational risk. We can't, not only exorbitant, but the reputation is the most important. We know our clients trust us with their information to keep it secure, and a breach in that trust is hard to calculate, but we know it will cause clients to leave and make it harder to acquire new clients. I think then you should have an independent review done of your current procedures. Obviously, we can help with that. We can help you develop a roadmap to a more compliant program. And when we engage in this practice, we can ensure to get the right stakeholders of your exco, for example, and from the second and third lines into a working group or a steerco. That way, as we go through the issues, they become clear and we can help them, take ownership of this roadmap. Then nobody's surprised when we get to the tooling and technology work streams and we follow our budgeting and procurement procedures. And hopefully then we get to the right answer and we get the budget that we need.
Thanks, Kirk. I believe we were able to answer your question, whoever asked it. Next question, I see Vineet, you can take this up. Our organization has multiple initiatives contributing to our global data and record strategy. Does your technology support a mode where I can choose to get all key elements from you as a single platform, or go with a modular approach?
So our NewGen 1 offering, it ranges from content lifecycle to Gen AI to low code data science to content centric process automation to customer communication automation, right? So it has a lot of modules under the same umbrella. But our philosophy is, as a software OEM, to understand and work with our customers on what the problem they are trying to solve, what is it that they're missing today as part of their strategy, and where is it that they can leverage us. So from our standpoint, we work on both models. We can give a larger umbrella which will have all the components as part of the offering, or we can understand what are the missing blocks and integrate with those investments as well.
Thanks, Vineet, for answering it. Uh, I request our audience to ask their questions. I have a question for you, Subhash. How do we avoid record keeping fines going forward concerning e-communications?
Absolutely. I think, as I said earlier, it's really important to have a clear set of governance enforced by controls. And when I say enforced by controls, you need to ensure as an organization that there are clear policies and governance in place for employees, including third parties, not to use or stop using off-channel communication, such as WhatsApp, such as WeChat, such as EML. Number two, utilize the natural language processing powered generative AI solutions of NewGen to create that forensically test element. You can have an automatic dashboard, as the team is saying here, for you to create that control. You can see at a real time if somebody is utilizing those off-channel communications. There are procedures. You can use that to stop that. And then obviously, through your policy governance, you take adequate steps supported by adequate training, robust communication. So I think it has to be sort of both an inside out and outside in process. Inside out from a governance control communication angle, outside in from a technology sort of powered forensically controlled processes. I think both these two-pronged approach is necessary going forward, for us to be able to address this situation.
Thanks, Subhash. Thanks for answering this. Okay, I'll take one more question here before we close our webinar. Videsh, you may be the better person to answer this. Uh, Question is, you mentioned that ICAG partners can help us review and develop a properly structured data management program. Can you expand on that?
Certainly, ICAC Partners has collectively over 90 years of records and data management practice. For instance, we have assisted 5 Tier 1 banks and financial institutions with their programs over the past 24 months. We start with a review of current program, if it does or does not formally exist, and assist in developing the new one. More mature framework, policies, controls with roles and responsibilities, including a multi-year roadmap for a better program. Introducing our technology partners like NewGen whenever and wherever they are needed. So if you like to learn more, please get in touch and reach out as icacpartners.com.
Thank you, Videsh. I see we don't have any questions as yet, but still, if you have some more questions, do write to us on webinars@newgensoft.com and we will connect you to the right person. Before closing, Varun, any ending thoughts you would like to leave for audience?
First of all, thanks to everyone for joining in today for this informative session. Newgen and ICAG, we are partner for ages. We have been working for in the industry for quite a while. As a company, we have been invested heavily on the technology and assisting some of the leading organizations globally. And likewise, ICAG, as Videsh also mentioned, has been consulting, defining the structures for, especially on the record management. And it's a ask of the town today, especially with a lot of compliance, data security, content security kind of concerns, and piles of volumes of content being stored unwantedly in large organization. So it's the time, and if you have any query, kindly do reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Varun. I sincerely thank all our guest speakers for taking the time out and join us for this webinar. I'm sure our audience have a lot to take back and surely looking to hear back from you all. Thank you once again. Have a good day ahead.
Thank you very much.